Shalom, shalom. Sekala lale hawa, Basham Yahushai, Basham Rakakwadash. And all double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to the sincere Archeum, the fellow laborers pushing this word in all truth and sincerity. Say shalom, shalom to the hopeful elect out there. Back at you to do a quick lesson. Back at you, Salakina, to do a quick video. And it was really inspired by this video, Apostle Elect Hart did, which was entitled "The Lord is not the author of confusion concerning, spiritual breakdowns." And it's not really a response, but it just was an inspiration to do this video, and it was concerning the a precept that he brought out, in Ephesians chapter 4, the 4th chapter, starting at the 15th verse. And when I heard that precept, it really resonated in my spirit, to actually do this video, because one of the reasons why, the men of the Mosiah Yahweh will actually continue growing in this truth until perfection is because they have the love. They have a love for this truth, and that goes as a normal principle in life, in a daily life. Because I could use an example here is that I was talking to an elderly guy who was really he really good as a chef, but like cooking food. And I was just reasoning with him as men, and he said one of his biggest secrets is that he developed a love for it, that he believed that is the only reason why he is good at it, because he developed a love with cooking, and when I really check it out, that is just a basic principle in life that we ought to have, especially when we come into this truth. We're supposed to develop a love for this truth, because we could watch all the NBA stars, the LeBron James and the Michael Jordans and for examples, when you watch boxing, the Muhammad Ali's and the Mike Tyson's, when they hear this history, when they do the history, is that they develop a love for the sport, so same way that we have to develop a love for this truth. And that is why the men of the Most High will actually continue growing. They will grow until the perfection. They will be perfect in the sight of Yahweh Ba'asham Yoshai, because they develop that love. That love will actually carry you through, because all the greats, in sports wise, all the greats and all the legends in the sports, is one thing they have in common, is the love. So the same thing with the men of the Most High, and an example of that is, when I watch the apostles and elders who over us, like Apostle Taha, Apostle Gaba, and and so on, is that they've been in this truth for so much years. And one of the biggest reasons, other than Yahweh Ba'asham Yoshai is really dealing with them, is that they develop a love for it. They develop a love for it. It have no other way to explain it, And I was when I read this is Ephesians 4 verse 15, he said, "But speaking the truth in love," speaking the truth in love, speaking this word in love, because at the end of the day, if you do not love or show appreciation for this truth, then you will fall out. And that is one of the reasons why majority of the guys fall out of this truth after being in the truth for so many years. I myself could only speak for myself. I still a young man in this truth. I still learning. Still listening. I doing more listening than talking. 4 years going into 5 years in this truth. And I've seen men who was who was in the shoot for 20 years, and it just happened to fall out. And one of the reasons why, because they didn't develop that love, you know. And when they read these precepts, for example, Ephesians 4 verse 15, but speaking the truth in love may grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even Yahushua, may grow up into him in all things. And that is why we continue to grow in this truth, because first and foremost, the Most High have to be dealing with you, and after a while, being in this truth, we tasting the sweet and we tasting the bitter at the same time. But you know what? A real man of the Most High will actually develop a love for it. And it maybe seems as I repeated myself over and over, but according to Apostle Gaba, reputation is the father of skill. They have to develop a love for this truth. Because when it all goes back to the love. Verse 16, it says, Ephesians 4 verse 16, it says, from whom the whole body fitly joined together and compacted by that which every joint supplieth, according to the effectual working in the measure of every part, make it increase of the body unto the edifying of itself in love. So when we do these videos, we're supposed to do it in love. In love of Yahweh Ba'asham Yashai, because we want to do the work. We are willing. We are willing. We can't just get enough of His word. So we have to develop a love for it. And that at the end of the day, that separates the real men of the Most High and the ones who are actually, winging it. Because a real man of the Most High will actually be out there in the highways and the byways, in season, out of season, doing these sit-down videos, edifying one another. Because these videos alone is very important to the ministry. These videos that we do and the apostles, do is that it edifies us. It builds our spirit. When we hear this, the precepts is actually breaking down the correct way. It uplifts your spirit. It gives us more energy, more will to go on, to push on. And that is why we push so hard. Because at the end of the day, it's all perfecting of the saints. It's for the perfecting of the saints. It goes back to what? To bidding the elect to the marriage. When we go out there in the highways and the byways, when we do these sit-down videos. But the point is that we have to do it in love. We have to do it in love. And that does go back to what? Matthew, I think Matthew the 22nd chapter. The 37th verse. We always bring this out. Matthew chapter 22, verse 37. Yahushua said unto them, straight to the point, he said, thou shalt love the Most High Yahweh power with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. So this is it all goes back to this. And that is one of the key ingredients for us to endure to the end, brothers. We have to develop a love for this. We have to develop a passion, a yearning passion to actually push this word, because we can't get enough of this word. So why we have the opportunity to get it, because YouTube actually clamping down on all these things, because the famine and the word is right here. Let us continue to push. Let us continue to push. Let us continue to give our diligence to make our calling and election sure, as it is written. Because we are heading into some serious times. And only the spirit of Yahweh Ba'asham Yoshai could, once the spirit of Yahweh Ba'asham Yoshai is dealing with us, we as the hopefully elect, we shall be comforted in these times. But we are going to face some horrific times, Every brother's faith is going to be tested. So this is why we do the work now. This is why we do the labor in love. We do it in love because we love the Most High. And and a majority of the guys who actually winging it out here, and these other Israelite groups who actually handling the word of the Most High deceitfully, they have a lot to answer for. They have a lot to pay for. But we seek mercy. We seek mercy in that time. But at the end of the day, it all go back to the love. Matthew chapter 22 verse 37, it says, Yahweh said unto him, Thou shalt love the Most High Yahweh thy power with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, with all your whole being, with all your spirit, with all your whole being. You want to serve. The Most High really had to put that in there to actually want to for you to have that burning to serve Yahweh Ba'asham Yoshai. And our teacher in this truth, who actually passed away doing the work. He was murdered on the street doing the work. He always used to say that. He always used to put it in our head. Always put it in our head that Yahweh Ba'asham Yoshai comes first. This truth comes first. This is our first priority. And that goes back to what if you really love something. Because if it have others out there who actually love things, like I use the example for sports, and the elderly man who was the chef, when I was talking with him and I was reasoning, he said the reason why he was so good at what he's doing is because he developed a love for it. He will spend hours and hours in the kitchen with a smile on his face because he does develop a love for it. It is not a burden unto him. And this is the same way we're supposed to treat this truth. This truth is not supposed to be a burden unto us, but we're supposed to develop a love. A love for the brotherhood, a love for the ministry. And first and foremost, a love for Yahweh Ba'asham Yoshai. And that is when you'll be able to speak the truth, with all love. Because as the scripture is written, is that when I think it's in the Apocrypha, it says seek him 10 times more. Because we departed, so we're supposed to be seeking the Most High 10 times more. And we're supposed to be able to actually yield our members. Because the same way that we could yield our members in the world out there to do wickedness. When we was living in darkness, we used to yield our members, to do unrighteousness, to undo our unrighteous deeds. But seeing that we have this truth, and the love of Yahweh Ba'asham Yoshai resonate in us, we're supposed to love, doing this work. And when I was watching, I was listening to Apostle Taha video, that just hit me, because this is one of the reasons why these guys, Apostle Gaba, Apostle Elder Taha, Apostle Raka, Apostle Ariam Lab, why these guys are there pushing so hard, and other brothers in the faith too, is that they develop a love for it. And the majority of these guys out there in the other Israelites group, they do not have the love for Yahweh Ba'asham Yoshai. They have the love for themselves. They have the love for to feed their own gain. But them don't want Yahweh Ba'asham Yoshai to get the praise. Because at the end of the day, it's all about him. Always remember it's all about him. He's from everlasting to everlasting. We are just of yesterday. We are just of our life is just a shadow, a vapor, the scripture say. And that is why these other guys, they fall off and they go and teach their own doctrine. They go to establish their own righteousness because they do not have that love for Yahweh Ba'ashem Yoshai. Because they say he deserves all praise, he deserves all glory. And when you see it like that, it humbles you. It humbles you that to say that you are nothing. You are nothing. Without Yahweh Ba'ashem Yoshai, we are nothing. And always remember that. So, it wasn't a video I intended to make long. It's just straight to the point. 2-3 precepts. But the point has been made. Hey, brothers, continue to push on. Continue to love this truth. Develop a love for this truth, a passion. That when you go there in the highways and the byways, you do it with a sincere heart. So with that, I say shalom, on to the next one.